morning. So today we're going to be finding the measure of angles in complementary and supplementary angles. So these first two problems, if we look at them, the two angles here form a right angle or a 90-degree angle. So these are called complementary angles. So complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So we're going to write an equation to solve for x. So x plus 45 equals 90. So I added up the two angles and I set them equal to 90 degrees. Now in order to solve this, we have to subtract 45 from both sides. So x is equal to 45 degrees. So we're going to do the same thing with this next problem. So these two angles form a right angle, so they add up to 90 degrees. So I'm going to write an equation. Adding x plus 72 equals 90, and then I need to subtract 72 from both sides of the equation. So x is equal to 18 degrees. Okay, so in order to solve for x in these next two problems, we need to write an equation. So we're going to add the two because they form a right angle, so they add up to 90 degrees. For x plus 46 equals 90. And then we just have a two-step equation. So we're going to subtract 46 from both sides. These cancel. We get 4x is equal to 44, and then we divide by 4 on both sides. So we get x is equal to 11. For this next problem, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to write an equation, and since they form a 90-degree angle, we're going to set both those angles equal to 90. So x plus 20 plus 63 equals 90. I'm going to combine my like terms. You can see my like terms here are the 20 and the 63. So x plus 83 equals 90. Then I'm going to subtract 83 from both sides to get that x by itself. So x is equal to 7. So those are complementary angles. Those add up to 90 degrees. For these next problems, we're going to be talking about supplementary angles. And supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So you can see that these two angles right here add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to write an equation and set them equal to 180. Then we subtract 77 from both sides. These cancel. We end up with x equals 103 degrees. And that's your answer. So we're going to do the same thing with this next problem. We're going to add x plus 121 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 121. So my x is going to be equal to 59 degrees. Okay, so these are very similar, but we need to write an equation in order to solve for our x. So we're going to add x plus 8, which is our first angle, plus 42 is equal to 180 degrees. So this is x plus 50 equals 180. Subtract 50, and x is equal to 130. For this next problem, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to write an equation. So x minus 5 plus 74 is equal to 180. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. I have a negative 5 and I have a positive 74. So in order to combine those two terms, I need to look at my signs. So I have opposite signs, which means I need to subtract. And I have more positives because I have positive 74. So it's going to be positive 69. And then I subtract 69 from both sides. So x is equal to 111. Okay, so this next diagram, we need to find all the unknown angles, and they give us the information that angle 2 is equal to 58 degrees. So I'm going to label that angle 58 degrees. Okay, so angle 2 and angle 4, so these two angles right here are what we call vertical angles, which means angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. So therefore, angle 4, the measure of angle 4, is equal to 58 degrees. So I'm going to label that. Okay, so if we look at angle 1 and angle 4, so angle 1 and angle 4 are what we call a linear pair. And linear pairs are supplementary and they add up to 180 degrees. So in order to find angle 1, we need to use angle 4. So to do that, we can just do 180 minus 58 will be equal to 122 degrees. Okay, so now that we have angle 1, we can see that angle 1 and angle 3 are also vertical angles. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. So angle 3 is equal to, the measure of angle 3 is going to be equal to 122 degrees. So that's how we find all the unknown angles using vertical angles and linear pairs.